That night, in a quiet residential area of Tokyo, an entire family disappeared. A father, a mother, a daughter, and a young son. 4 people. Inside the same house, on the same night, at around the same time, they all lost their lives. But what makes this case truly disturbing is not the murders themselves. It is what happened afterward. The killer did not run. He stayed inside the house. He opened the refrigerator. He took out food. He drank tea. He ate ice cream. He used the bathroom. He turned on the computer. He accessed the internet. He searched for things. And then he treated his own wounds. This is not the behavior of someone escaping. This is the behavior of someone who stayed. And the next morning, just before the family members arrived at the house, between 10 and 20 minutes before they got there, the computer showed activity. The mouse had been moved. Until that very moment, someone may still have been inside the house. This is the Setagaya family murder case. December 30th, 2000, the end of the year, a time when people are both busy and slightly relaxed, a time of closing things off and preparing for what comes next. Setagaya, Tokyo, not a busy downtown area, not a place filled with skyscrapers, not a street packed with traffic. During the day, children play in the park. In the evening, families return home. At night, everything becomes quiet. A normal residential neighborhood. That is where the Miyazawa family lived. The father, Mikio, an office worker, no criminal record, no known disputes, no notable incidents. The mother, Yasuko, a homemaker living an ordinary life. The daughter, Nina, an elementary school student, bright and cheerful. The son, Ray, 6 years old, still very young. There is one word that describes this family: ordinary. There was no clear reason for anyone to target them. No known conflicts, no known enemies, nothing that would make them stand out. That is what makes this case so difficult to understand. That evening, their home was filled with normal life. They had dinner, they talked, the children played, then they went to bed. The parents wrapped up their day. The house became quiet, a completely ordinary day. And then the night deepened. Behind the house, there is a park. The structure is not fully enclosed. It is possible to approach the house from outside. A small bathroom window on the 2nd floor. This is believed to be the point of entry. It is not an easy place to choose. The height is awkward. There is little to step on, and yet, the killer chose that spot. This was not random. He may have known the layout of the house, or he may have observed it beforehand. He climbed up, he opened the window, and he entered the house. From that moment, everything changed. It was already late at night. The family was likely asleep. He moved quietly. He may have tried to understand the space. Who was where? How the rooms were arranged? Where to move next? These decisions were likely made quickly. At some point, he may have encountered the young son, Ray. That moment broke the silence. It may have been a small sound, but it was enough. The father, Mikio, likely reacted. A strange noise from his child's room. A parent would move immediately. He went toward the stairs. He faced the intruder. A narrow space, a dark environment, a sudden confrontation. He did not run. He tried to stop him. He pushed. He grabbed. He resisted. He tried to block his movement. He may have been trying to buy time. In that brief moment, he used all his strength. The knife broke. It shows how intense the struggle was. And the killer was injured. A deep wound to the hand. Blood began to flow. That blood was left throughout the house, on the floor, on the walls, on the stairs. Traces began to form. At that point, the killer could have escaped, but he did not stop. He kept moving. He attacked the remaining family members. Within a short time, everything was over. The crime was over. Inside the house, no one was moving anymore. No sound, no voices, no footsteps. Everything had stopped. And yet, one person was still moving. The killer. He did not leave immediately. This is one of the most important details. He did not run. He did not hide. He stayed. He remained inside the house. This was not accidental. It was a choice. He used time, not minutes, hours. He chose to stay inside that house for an extended period. He walked through the space, from room to room, through the living area, up and down the stairs. He may have moved through the entire house. This was not just movement. It was control. He had taken over the space. The house was no longer the family's. At least for that time, it belonged to him. He examined everything. The placement of objects, the structure of the rooms, the flow of movement. He was not rushing. He was not being chased. He was in control. And eventually, he moved into the kitchen. He stood in front of the refrigerator. He opened it. He looked inside. Inside was the family's everyday life. Food, drinks, snacks, everything neatly arranged. He took things out. He ate. He drank. And then he chose ice cream. Not one, several, 4. He took them out one by one. He ate one. Then he took another. He repeated the same action. He ate them right there. The way he ate them is important. He did not use a spoon. Instead, he held the package, squeezed it, and pushed the contents directly into his mouth. This is not a common way of eating ice cream in Japan. In Japan, people usually use a spoon or eat it in a more conventional way. But this method was different. This method closely resembles how tube-style ice cream is eaten in Korea. This is not just a random habit. This suggests familiarity. He was used to eating it this way. He repeated the same method. He ate all 4, and then the empty wrappers. They were left behind, neatly arranged, not scattered, not thrown carelessly. They were organized. This is a crucial detail. His actions were free, but the result was controlled. A brutal crime scene, coexisting with orderly, deliberate traces. Both existed in the same space. And in that moment, he was using the family's time as if it were his own. He took off his clothes. They were stained with blood, marked by the struggle. Those clothes were evidence, and yet he did not discard them. He folded them, carefully, one by one. He placed them in the living room, in a visible location, neatly arranged. This was not random behavior. It was intentional. A deliberate placement, almost as if he wanted them to be seen. He likely changed into clothes found inside the house. This is a significant shift. He was no longer just an intruder. He became someone using the space, using the house, using its environment, using its time. And then, the bag he left behind. Inside it, a substance was found, fluorescent powder. This is not something commonly found in everyday environments, not something you would normally see in a household. It is used in specific work environments, printing facilities, industrial workspaces, specialized production settings. This becomes a key clue. It narrows down the kind of environment the killer may have been part of. This was not just anyone. He was not ordinary. This was not a typical crime. This was far from normal behavior. He was injured, a deep wound on his hand. He was likely bleeding continuously, and yet he did not run. He chose to treat the wound. He likely used items found inside the house. He cleaned the blood. He applied pressure. He tried to stop the bleeding. This takes time. This is not a quick action. He stayed. He used that time. This is a critical point. In a situation where he should have escaped, he did the opposite. He remained. He organized himself. There was no urgency in his behavior, no signs of panic. He appeared calm. Or at least, he acted that way. This is not typical behavior for someone who just committed a crime. He stayed inside the house, and at some point, he sat down in front of the computer. He turned it on. He accessed the internet. He began searching. This was not casual use. He was looking for something. Records show that he accessed websites related to self-harm, as well as school-related sites. This is extremely unusual. Right after committing the crime, he remained at the scene and used the computer. He moved the mouse. He opened pages. He left digital traces. This activity continued. Time passed. The night went by. Morning approached. And then one of the most disturbing details in this entire case. The next morning, just before the family members arrived, between 10 to 20 minutes before they got there, the computer showed activity. The mouse had been moved. This is not just a technical detail. It is a moment in time. It suggests that he may have still been inside the house until that very point. The same house, the same morning, the same space. Until just before the door was opened, someone may have been inside. They could have crossed paths. It was that close. This is not speculation. This is based on recorded evidence. That morning, Yasuko's mother tried to call. It was a normal call, but there was no answer. Once, twice, several times, still no response. This is unusual. Something felt wrong. She became concerned. So she went to the house. She stood at the door. She pressed the doorbell. No response. The house was quiet. Too quiet. She opened the door, and she went inside. That is when everything was discovered. There were many clues left behind. Fingerprints, bloodstains, bodily fluids, a bag, fluorescent powder, and sand. Inside the bag, in a corner, very fine grains of sand were found. This was not ordinary dust. A detailed analysis was conducted. The result was clear. This type of sand could not have formed in Japan. The investigation continued. The composition matched regions in the western United States, Nevada, and the deserts of California. This is a critical connection. He may have been in that region. He may have traveled there recently, or even lived there. Then the shoes. The brand was Schlesinger, sold in Korea, not common in Japan. The size, between 275 and 280 millimeters, larger than the average Japanese shoe size at the time. Another key detail, then DNA. It did not fully match a typical Japanese profile. There were indications of mixed ancestry, Asian and European, and then the estimated age. Late teens to early 20s, very young. The fact that someone this young committed such a crime adds another layer of shock. This is not a case with no evidence. Fingerprints were left behind, blood was left behind, bodily fluids were left behind, a bag was left behind, fluorescent powder was left behind, sand was left behind, shoe information was left behind, DNA was left behind. Even an age range could be estimated. There were too many clues. And yet, the suspect was never identified. The reason is clear. He may not have remained in Japan. He may have left the country. He may not exist in any database. And early investigative connections may have been missed. All of these factors overlap. That night, he was inside the house, close enough to potentially cross paths with someone. And then he left, leaving behind so many traces, so many clues, and then he disappeared. The highest reward in Japanese history, 20 million yen, approximately 200,000 US dollars, was offered. But even then, he was never caught. Even after leaving behind all of those clues, he escaped. And the reason why remains unknown to this day. Even now, he may still exist somewhere. This case is not over. There are still unanswered questions. If this story left you wondering, the next one is waiting for you. Subscribe and stay with us.